All right, welcome everybody. Excited to be here with every single one of you. This is the second training we do where we talk about how to go out there and recruit 30 people in the next 30 days and how to really build momentum. My name is Nieves. I can tell you that I'm excited to be here with you guys, mainly because I've been doing this now on a full-time level, working in the industry, direct sales and network marketing now for we're going on almost 14 years, 7 years, and I've been a top producer in 2 different companies already. And let me tell you, my experience has taught me, and mentors that I have had the privilege to be working with. It's just been incredible to share this information with you guys. Everything that I want to teach you right now, I did not come up with it myself. This was simply given to me, and I was able to apply it in my life and get some amazing results within my life. So let's go ahead and jump into this information. So congratulations for those of you that are here right now. And you want to get yourself if you're in a position to pay attention and take notes, you want to go ahead and do that. You don't have to write everything down, but those things that strike you, those aha moments. As well as this webinar will be recorded as well for you guys to go back to and be able to access the information again. So let's go ahead and get going to this. First of all, I want to share with you the obvious. The obvious is that the only thing that makes your business move is you moving your business. It's you taking consistent action and making it happen. Is the only thing that makes your business move. I think a lot of times we come into this industry of direct sales or any type of business with kind of false expectations. The expectations like maybe something was going to be easy. Can we agree that nothing in life that came easy, nothing in life that came easy was nothing of value? Everything in life brought greatness to our lives and brought some part of joy in our lives came through some point of struggle. It came through some point of contact where the point of contact with that fire, that place where we were put under pressure. So you and I have to come with this. And I think one of the first things any of us have to understand is the industry that we're in. The industry that we're in, I've been going to the gym for a long time now. I'm 38 years old. For the last 20 years, I started really going to the gym and consistently going to the gym. I even had a chance to work at a gym before as a personal trainer. And let me share with you that when it's interesting because human psychology and motivation is something that I love to study. I like to look into it. And human motivation, let me tell you that a lot of people have good intentions. A lot of people. In fact, and this is the same thing with this industry that it is with any industry out there, but the gym is a great way to compare, is that many people that join the gym never show up twice. Never show up 3 times, or maybe they show up 1 or 2 times and that's it. They never show up again. So, and if I was to, and I remember getting in the numbers of how many people joined the gym and how many people showed up. And let me tell you, out of the 100, if 100 people join the gym, 70% only show up once. 70%. Now, can we say the gym didn't work? Can we say the gym is a scam? Can we say no? We cannot say none of that. It was the individual. It was that. So I think one of the first things we have to understand is that every single one of us will fall around the same. We're going to come across the same people, and it's important for us not to fall victim to the industry of the psychology, should I say, of motivation, of lack of motivation with people. But when you know the issue, when you know a problem, you can set your expectations immediately. And you can, but the truth is that you have to understand that the only thing that makes your business move is you moving your business. It's taking action, consistent action. How do we do that? How do we start this motivation process, if you will? Here's the saying that I've taught my that has been said different ways, but I taught the people that I mentor. It said, before effort, a vision must be present. Before effort, a vision for your life must be present. And we have heard this throughout history. In fact, Proverbs says, without a vision, the people perish. Proverbs 29:18. You all have seen this before, haven't we? It's easy. But let me give you a little enlightenment on this, so we can dive in a little more. The Proverbs, the Hebrew text says this: where there's no prophetic vision, the people cast off restraint. And that's very interesting, that how they say they cast off restraints. Meaning where there's no vision, where there's no dream, where there's no goals, where there's nothing that pulls on you, the people cast off restraint. Now think about this. When there's no, what do you see when you see a teenager with no restraint? What do you see? You see chaos, don't you? You see someone that, if you've ever seen a teenager with no restraint, they're dangerous, should we say. And this author here said, Solomon was saying that without a goal, without a vision for your life, what will happen is you won't have restraint. What does that mean? That means there's no discipline. There's no commitment. There's no sense of responsibility. There's no sense of showing up. There's no sense of doing the right thing because you have no restraint. So without a vision for your life, 2,000 years ago, the wisest man that ever lived said, if without a vision, you have no restraint in your life. You have to have a goal for yourself. And so I want to just spend a couple of minutes here just talking about this, because the number one reason we want to set goals is because we want to have a direction where we're heading to. We want to have something that we're shooting at. And there's a part of your brain that is called the reticular activating system, called the RAS for short, that helps you notice things that will help you achieve that specific goal. You see, you want your brain to become extremely acute. And what the brain does, it starts noticing everything that relates to help you achieve that goal. Have you ever purchased a car? And when you purchase the car, you drive the lot, and when you drive off of the lot, what do you see? You see everybody's driving the same car. You see that, and you start noticing that car. Have that ever happened to you? It's happened to me. I just bought a car recently, and I'm driving my car, my Lexus, and all of a sudden I started noticing the same Lexus everywhere. Before I even owned the car, I never noticed that Lexus out in the street. But now that I have the car, my reticular activating system gets turned on, and now my brain became extremely acute to that which relates to me. So whenever you set goals, whenever you have a strong why, whenever you have a vision for yourself, your mind, your brain, your reticular activating system turns on, and it starts giving you all these, it starts noticing all these things that are related to your goal. So when you specify your goals, and if you don't, if you don't know what you want, you don't know if you're heading in the right directions. But you want your brain to start noticing every opportunity out there. Here's what happens. When I started noticing, when I set my vision and my goals, all of a sudden I started remembering people I haven't talked to in a while. I started realizing opportunities like you're at Starbucks, and all of a sudden you overhear somebody say, man, things are rough out there. You turn around and you're able to talk to that individual because you notice those things. You start, just little opportunities that were all throughout your day are always available throughout the day, but your brain was not acute to it. There's this thing called scotoma. Have you guys ever heard of scotoma? Have you ever been in a position where you're looking for something? It has happened to me many times where I'm here, I'm with my girl, and my spouse and my girlfriend, and I'm here and she tells me, hey David, get me this, give me the salt, give me this part, and I'm looking for it, and I'm like, man, I can't find it. I tell myself that, and then all of a sudden she comes out of the room right in front of me, grabs it, and say, here it is. Have you guys ever experienced that? That's called scotoma. That's the opposite of the reticular activating system creating that blind spot. But the opposite is true. If you specify a vision, if you specify a goal for yourself, here's what happens. You're gonna start noticing different opportunities throughout your day to accomplish your goal. So this is how the mind works. And you and I have to be aware of this thing, because the moment you're not aware of this, it becomes dangerous. Let me tell you what happens. We don't like to set goals. Let me tell you why. We don't like to specify our goals because we don't like to specify conditions of failure. That's not, you know, when you specify a vision for yourself, you're already writing failure into your calendar, because the only way you succeed is through failure. You got to go through falling down over and over again. So if we keep ourselves all vague and foggy, we don't have to know when we fail, and we avoid the feeling of pain. So in other words, I'd rather not know. I just don't want to know if I'm failing, and that's fine and all. But when you do that, we fail all the time. All the time we fail, and you just won't feel it until we fail so badly that we get to a point where we're done. We're like, oh my God, I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of this. But so it's almost like willful blindness that whenever we don't specify goals. So ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is poverty. Ignorance is failure. Ignorance is failed relationship. Ignorance is dangerous. Ignorance is bad health. What you don't know will hurt you. So you have to know what it is that you want in your life. You have to know your goals. I hope every single morning when I wake up, I have a routine. I do my personal development and I do my affirmations every single morning. I want to program my subconscious mind every single morning. My affirmations are in front of me, and I'll read to you some of my affirmations so you can see what I'm talking about. But my affirmations are something that to me is, man, I cannot do without. I have to every single day do my affirmations, because if that doesn't happen, man, it just doesn't get my day the right way. So I get my affirmations straight. You know, I write my affirmations like, hey, every day my income is increasing, whether I'm working, playing, or sleeping. Every day. That's a great affirmation to have. I'm grateful for the life that I'm living. Another affirmation I have. That I tell myself there's no such thing as failure, only learning, adjusting experiences. One other affirmation that I have. I tell myself I bring value to people around me. I am disciplined in getting things done. I'm congruent with my words and action. I'm grateful for my life. All my investments are profitable. People love to pay me money for what I love most to do. Saving and investing money comes naturally to me. For I am not my body. I am not my mind. I am the observer of my mind, and I am that being that's living within my body. These are affirmations that I repeat to myself every single day, every single morning, just to get myself going. And it's great because your subconscious mind, within the first 20 minutes of your waking up, your subconscious mind is in that beta state, in a state of complete openness. And whatever you put in your mind, your first 20 minutes when you wake up, it'll set your day up, and your repetition of thought will happen over and over and over again. Let's keep going. Here's responsibility. Responsibility is your ultimate power. Responsibility comes from two words, response and ability. In other words, in any given moment, you have the ability to respond to any situation. It's not what happens to you that determines how you end up in your life. It's what you do that happens to you. That's what Jim Rohn has taught us. You and I have to assume responsibility. What's the responsibility? Here's the thought process. Here's the psychological drama that we go through. First of all, it starts with input. Input becomes a thought. A thought becomes an emotion. An emotion becomes an action. An action becomes a habit. A habit becomes your destiny. But everything starts with taking full responsibility of what? Number one, the input. That's number one. And number two, it takes in full responsibility of knowing that when you think a thought is just a thought. It's nothing else than a thought. But you and I decide the meaning we give that thought. And based on that meaning, it'll produce an emotion. That emotion produces an action. An action produces a result, or produces a habit. A habit produces your destiny. It starts with taking full responsibility. I learned this at a very young age, and my pastor told me this. I never forgot it. He said to me, David, responsibility, maturity does not come with age. Maturity comes with the acceptance of responsibility. This is why you see some kids that are mature at the age of 16, and you see some people at the age of 65 that are still immature. because they never accepted that responsibility. They have the power to choose. To choose is the power of choice of your response in any situation. And you can do that. Set your goals, set your vision, and write it down, guys. This is very important to talk about. Let's keep going. Slide edge principle. Here's some, let me give you some hows, because a lot of people want to know, David, show me how to do this. Show me how to do this. And it's great. I'm about to give you some skill sets right here and some techniques on how to go out there and recruit. Let's do that. But it's not just the hows, it's how you do the hows. In other words, it's how you hold your life's beliefs, should we say, and your philosophy. Your philosophy, Jim Rohn teaches us, is what you know, how you hold it, what you decide is valuable, and how it affects what you do. So let me give you some slide edge principles. It's an amazing book called The Slide Edge by Jeff Olson. I recommend it to everybody, The Slide Edge by Jeff Olson. Here's number one. He said, you got to show up. In anything in life, you have to show up. You want to show up. You want to go ahead and have success in this business, you got to show up. You want to go have success in the gym, you got to show up. You just have to show up. Show up to webinars, show up to trainings, show up to your own personal development, show up to your own appointments, show up to your calendar you schedule the day before, your agenda that you have, is show up to those things. You just have to be there and show up. Just by showing up, you beat 70% of the people. How do I know this? Because 70% of people don't show up. I know this. This is not just the gym. It happens everywhere in life. It happens in this business. It happens in this industry. If you just show up, you beat 70% of people. You're already ahead of the game. Number two, you got to be consistent. And whatever you do, you got to follow with consistency. You know, successful people master the mundane, the things they don't want to do, those boring things that they don't want to do. So reaching out. You know how many three-way calls I've done in my career? And you know, I sometimes I got to remind myself that I'm talking to somebody new, because I'm saying the same thing over and over. So I'm like, did I already say this to this person, or did I say it to that person? That's the mundane. I'm saying literally the same thing over and over and again. So be consistent what you do. And the consistency of things is mastering the mundane. It's the little things that seem to make no difference in the act of doing that make all the difference. Here's number three. You got to have a good attitude. Everything is about having a positive attitude. One of my strengths, in fact, I would consider this my number one strength, is that I always look for the best in every situation. Always. I was taught at an early age that every adversity brings a seed of a greater benefit. Too many people are so focused on the door that closed, they cannot see the window that's open. You got to have a positive attitude, a good attitude with people, a good attitude with yourself, a good attitude with your team around you. And what other options? If you want to make $1 million in network marketing, you want to make $1 million in this industry, here's how you do it. I'll tell you right now, everything that happened is good, everything. Because every adversity brings a seed of a greater benefit. Every adversity is a deposit inside you, inside building your mental muscle. It's all good mental training, every single one of them. That's another affirmation of mine, by the way. It's all good mental training. It's grow time. I tell myself sometimes as well. Be committed for a long period of time. Now that you have a good attitude, you cannot just do it for a short time. Now that you be consistent, you cannot do it for a short time. You cannot just show up for a month and say, oh my God, whew, that wore me out. No, you have to do it for a long period of time. That's key. And number 5, have faith in the burning desire. The evidence of faith is persistence. The reason you have faith is because you persisted. The moment you stop having faith, you stop persisting. Yes or yes. That's how it works. So have faith in a burning desire. A burning desire is something that you wake up early in the morning thinking about it. You go to sleep thinking about it. This is something that consumes you. It has to be that vision that we spoke about. You got to have that vision for yourself. Sometimes it's going to be a vision of retiring your parents, financial freedom, be able to experience, explore new things, help other people, go ahead and build orphanages, help. I mean, there's many different ways to doing this. So you got to have that burning desire. A burning desire is very interesting because a burning desire is let me go back. Give me just a second. Stop sharing. Okay. back to sharing. Sorry about that. We got this. There we go. A burning desire is when Napoleon Hill said, Napoleon Hill wrote a book, Think and Grow Rich. You haven't read that book? Amazing book, Think and Grow Rich. He wrote it. He took 20 years to write it. He did it with the top, most successful people on this planet. He interviewed them all for 20 years. And he wrote one of his first principles. He says, the starting point of all achievement is a white hot burning desire. You gotta be hungry for what you want. Where it come from? You gotta have a vision. You gotta have that. You gotta have. My mentor Danny Bay used to tell me all the time, David, out of sight, out of mind. If you don't have it in front of you, if you're not thinking about it, if you're not reading about it, if you're not looking the car you want to have, the house you want to buy, the lifestyle you want to live, if you're not thinking about your promotion, if you're not thinking about, you got to let this consume you, everything. The people around you, the mentors, models, pictures, videos, motivational, personal development, all this feeds your burning desire. All of it feed it. Go ahead and take it. And we're going to do a training on motivation, actually. Now that a great training to do on how to go out there and stay motivated. In fact, I'm going to write that down right now. Okay, stay motivated training coming up soon. I'll promise you that. I'm gonna give you guys some nuggets on how to stay motivated and some really, really good stuff on. Okay. And number 6, you got to be willing to pay the price. It's a price for success, but I'll tell you, there's a price for failure too. And when I realized that the price for failure was living the rest of my life in shame and in that state of regret, I realized that I got to pay the price for success. That is, the price for success weighs ounces. The price for failure and for quitting and for giving up on your dreams and goal and giving up on you becoming a better person and growing. The price for that is horrible, man. It's regret. It weighs tons. We don't want that. Number 7, practice light edge integrity. What does that mean? That means you got to do it when no one is watching. Nobody's gonna tell you what to do. You know, you really want to know who you are. You know who you are. It's what you do when no one else is watching. When no one else is around you, that's really, really who we are. And you got to do these things when no one is around you, when nobody's clapping, when nobody's cheering you on. You got to do those things. That's the integrity that we're talking about here. The disciplines, simple disciplines, practice over time, give you a life that you want. Simple errors in judgment, knowing the things that you know you should be doing but not doing them, practice over time, create the failure that we don't want to get to. Okay, I think I spoke really fast in mindset. So let's go ahead and move on. All right, let's talk a little bit about why it's so important to recruit 20 to 30 people in your first 30 days. Here's the truth: every successful 6- and 7-figure income earner that I've met has recruited 20 to 30 people in a short burst of time. Every person. Success loves speed. You got to do this fast. You got to recruit people in a condensed length of time. Or here's another thing, either you do it, or number 2, you find someone else that does it. Either one, someone has to follow this strategy, recruiting 20 to 30 people in a short burst of time. Sometimes you do it personally. I recommend for you to go that route, and then you're gonna find people that are gonna do it as well, and that builds momentum in your team, because that's what we're trying to create. We're trying to create momentum. Momentum creates your story. And I said this, I spoke about this last Saturday training, but I want to remind you again that on May 6, 1954, Roger Bannister became the first man that broke the 4-minute mile. Before him, 20 years, nobody could do it. Every runner tried, the Olympics tried. In fact, doctors said that it was an impossibility to reach that goal. In fact, that your heart would explode. They started making up all this sort of stuff. Here's the truth. On May 6, 1954, Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. The Sports Illustrated called it the single most important sporting act in the history of sports. What's interesting is that he was in cover of Life magazine too. It was interesting that 17 days later, another runner, when he heard about it, he did it. and he broke the 4-minute mile as well. In fact, he broke Roger Bannister's record. You probably never heard of John Landing, have you? John Landing was the second man that broke the 4-minute mile, and he broke it. He broke Roger Bannister's records too. But nobody has talking about John Landing. Everybody knows Roger Bannister. In fact, 300 people did it 2 years later when no one could do it. He created a story, and that story inspired other people. Why do you want to recruit 20, 30 people in your first 30? Because people nearest to you will be inspired by your story. This is the key of your success. Let's go out there and create a story for yourself. And I'm going to show you some strategies how to do it right now. 50% of jet uses 50% of his fuels on the takeoff. We know this already. You're going to have to use 50% of your fuel on the takeoff. Once you take off, then you reach cruising altitude. Then the rest of 5,000 miles is used on the rest. You're just cruising afterwards. And that's the truth. All right, let's talk a couple of things that I covered last week, but I want to cover it again on top just to give you some refreshers again. Number one, you gotta let your goals excite you. You gotta let those goals have to be exciting goals for yourself. That really wakes you up, and you can get yourself excited, by the way, by using affirmations, by reading your goals in front of you, by surrounding people, personal development. All these things create excitement within you. You gotta have a short-term sacrifice for a long-term reward. The mundane at this very moment. You got to be available. You're going to have to be willing to cancel activities. There's maybe you like to play golf. Maybe you like to play tennis. Maybe you like to do something. Here's the truth. The reality is whenever you're in momentum, every moment, every crack of your day will be filled up with helping other people be successful. This is what you're signing up. So you got to be willing to cancel different activity. You got to be willing to stay up early, get up early and stay up late at times. You're going to have to maybe do some calls at midnight or at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's okay. It's okay to do this thing. You have to be willing to do the uncomfortable thing early in life so you can live comfortable later in life. You will have to get out of your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is a stretching zone. It's a zone that all you have to do is keep stretching and stretching. And one day, your comfort zone, all your dreams and goals will be inside that circle. But you got to keep stretching your comfort zone. You use any extra time to make calls and set appointments. Like I said, any little cracks and I'm driving, I'm making calls. I'm sitting down between appointments, I'm making calls. Whatever I have to do to get ahead and go out there and expose and be able to prospect and go out there and get customers and get business partners for my business, every little set of things I have to do. And you have to enroll your family in the process. I spoke about this last week, so I won't go too much into it, but I tell you what, if you have a family, you got to enroll them in your vision. And let mommy and daddy are about to go set out to do something great. And you have to let them know what you're doing so they can know and they can be there with you. And you can set goals with a family. It's a beautiful family, a family that sets goals together. It's a beautiful thing when you set goals with your kids and you say, hey, when we reach this together, we're going to go ahead and do this. That's a beautiful thing to do. And the example that you're being for your children. Let me pause right here for just a second. The best thing you can do for your kids is let them see you win in life. Is let them see you go out there and accomplish a goal. Struggle and let them see you struggle and then win in life. That's the best thing a parent can do for their children, in my opinion. Okay, let's talk about recruiting and building an organization. First of all, I want to share with you that every successful organization is always recruiting. Is the NFL recruiting? You best believe it. Is the NBA recruiting? Of course, US Army, Apple, Starbucks, and they're recruiting good talent. So it's okay to have the attitude to say, you know what, I want to go out there and recruit. Great. We all want to recruit. I think a lot of times we get into this, oh man, I don't want to do this business because I just don't want to recruit anybody. Listen, that's business. If you work for an organization, if you work at a job, someone recruited you at that job. That's just the way it works. Every organization in the world is recruiting. If you're going to start a traditional business and let's say you start your own computer company, you're going to have to recruit engineers. You're going to have to recruit accountants. You have to get good at recruiting a team, a complementary team of people. Every organization is doing this. Be okay with it that we too are recruiting for good talent. Okay, here's a couple of things of how to go out there and create a list and be able to help you. Reach out to people and say hello when they least expect it. You know, that's just a great thing to do. Reach out to people you haven't talked to. Give real compliments to people. Be sincere with people. Show appreciation. Be a human being. Be a friend to someone. Make deposits. Make good deposits in people's lives. You know, many times we you know, you have friends and I have people in my life that are takers. All they do is take and they remove. Every single one of you and me have an emotional bank account. That emotional bank account is different with different people. And based on that emotional bank account, you can then ask someone for a favor. You can ask them for your time. But if your emotional bank account with that person is low, how many of you guys been in a position where that person that has all they do is take from your life, and you like finally answer you look at the phone, they're calling you like, oh my God, not this person again. That's the thought you start thinking. I was like, oh, here we go again, because they're takers. Be a person that puts deposit in other people's lives. And that's always just a great thing to do, because influence comes from major deposits in other people's lives. The more deposits you put in someone else's life, the more influence that you're going to have with that person. It's just that simple. Invest in people without expectations. That's just, again, be a good friend. Be with people. Okay, so that's relationship marketing, value marketing. That's the new era of recruiting and building businesses, guys. It's the new era. Okay, what you seek is also seeking you. Seeking you shall find. This is the truth. Every wise person has told us, has reminded us that what you seek is also seeking you. So go, let me show you what you're seeking out there. Okay, let's talk about a couple of places you can build a team. You can build a list from. Number one, warm market. That's the people that you know, warm market. Number two is warm market referrals. The peoples that they know, right? Some of your warm market might not be interested in business, but guess what? They might have people that might be interested. Your people's list. When someone joins your team and someone joins your organization, they also gonna have a list, and you're gonna be able to help them with that list. Cold market recruiting, right? We all know people cold market. We go social media, another strategy as well. Let's dive in a little more into this. I want to teach you a philosophy. My mentor taught me that. He said, David, recruit mindset, train skills. You recruit mindset, but you train skills. You're looking for that person that has the right type of mindset. But let me give you some categories on what you're looking for. Actually, let me give you categories afterwards. Within the categories, you have to recruit up. Recruit up is key. Why do we want to recruit up? For obvious reasons. Here's what happens. The social influential scale, every single one of us is a 5. You're a 5, I'm a 5, we're all a 5. If you start recruiting, what happens is we technically tend to recruit down. So if you're a 5, you tend to recruit a 4 because it's easier to recruit. It's the lowest hanging fruit. So what happens? Well, that 4 does the same thing. In their world, that 4 is a 5. And what they do, they recruit their 4, which in your world is a 3. And then what happens? That 3 in their world is a 5, but in your world, they recruit down their 4, but in your world it's a 2. And before you know it, you show up to meetings and nobody, you're talking to people who don't understand business. You're talking to people that don't have the money. You're talking to people. So you want to be, this is what you want to do. You might not be able to recruit a 10. That might not happen. It's okay. But you can recruit a 6. Someone who's just a little more influential than you. Someone who's just a little more successful than you. And here's what happened. In their world, they're a 5. But they recruit their 6. In your world, that's a 7. And in that 7, their world, they're a 5. But then they recruit at 8. And I found that between 8 and 9, I would say, but 8, when you find that 8, that's the magic number. You say, well, David, how come not a 10? How come not? Well, I'm not saying that you won't be able to find a 10. Of course you will. It's possible. However, here's what happens. I just want to set the expectations that when you go out there and recruit a 10, typically the 10s already have vision, already are focused into something. And they're so focused that you cannot get them out of their focus. So they're already successful. They already have what they're looking for. But you're looking for that that perfect person, you got to recruit up, okay? Here's some of the categories in the year that I look for: entrepreneurs, professional, salespeople, of course, they can take rejection, people that have a thick skin, that it's okay, the people that can take rejection, fitness trainers. I'm a fitness trainer, so I'm going to put people that like my people there. People with strong why, people that have motivation, networkers, go-getters, people with a track record of success, right? I love people that have a track record, people that have a work ethic, personal power, people that have just personal power within themselves, a positive personality, people that have lots of contacts, successful but not satisfied, people who are open-minded, teachable, people that have goals, people that likes business, and influencers. Look, this is the kind of a few categories that you can go into, and of course you can screenshot this, or you can come back to this webinar. Okay, I want to introduce you to a couple of things. Circle of influence, circle of value. Circle of influence, these are usually the people you have influence over. It's a close family, close friends, people you influence, right? People that you have best friends, that I love you group, that I owe you group. These people right here are typically, there's a way to reaching out to them. I'm going to share you with that strategy, how to reach out to those people. But there's also this circle right here, which is, I call a circle of value. These are people that you have to build some value first, or get connected with them first before you reach out to them. And it's okay. Let me tell you, I've made millions of dollars from a circle of value, millions of dollars. These are distant relatives, distant friends, new people you just met, people that you recognize by facial recognition, maybe at the grocery store, maybe through Facebook. It's like, hey, I know you through facial, or you just know them. Maybe you not know the name, but you know their face. Ex-coworkers, ex-classmates. Think about these people and make a list and put them on your list and start building value within them. And I'm going to give you some strategies on how to do that right now. Okay, you can screenshot this as well, or you can come back to it later. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the list. Never prejudge. The people you think will, won't, and the people you think won't, will. That's just how it works. So never prejudge. Make a list of 100 plus people. The bigger, the better. The bigger the list, the better. Show your team your list. I have my list right here, and I want to show it to you because I want to practice what I'm telling you, what I do. If you can see here, this is my list. See, this is all my list of names. So I have my list with me all the time, and sometimes I just pull out my list and I add a people. I just remember this person. I add them, and then immediately I say, hey, how's it going? How is this situation treating you? Great question to ask. Okay, show your team your list. Keep growing your list. Keep adding. Keep building up to relationship. This is a relationship business, and get referrals too. Where people there are, you can get referrals from your list as well. Okay, let's talk about mastering the language. Communication is not just what you say, but what others perceive. You guys notice that? Have you ever been in a situation that you're like, oh shoot, that's not what I was trying to say because it was perceived the wrong way? Have it ever happened to you? So communication is not just what you say, but what others perceive. That's very important to understand when you're communicating with people. Get this out. Here's some words mastering your language. You want to stay away from these kind of words like opportunity. Instead of opportunity, say project. That is better in people's mind. Instead of join, say I'm launching. That's much better in people's mind as well. Instead of meeting, say business overview. Again, it's just language and the way people perceive things. Instead of seminar, say business training. Instead of speaker, say business mentor. Instead of upline, say business partner. These are just little things that what people will perceive in a much better way, and it won't have a negative stigma that in the past they might have had a negative experience with our industry, and all of a sudden they relate that negative experience to this experience. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so you can screenshot this as well. Okay, let's go. We're doing good time. We got 20. I'm gonna try to finish in the next 20 minutes. People will be more impressed by your authenticity and the height of your enthusiasm and the depth of your knowledge. Write this down right now. I want you to write this down. 80% of this industry is energy. 20% is skill. 80% of this industry is energy. 20% is skill. You gotta increase your energy. That's why motivation is so important, and I can't wait to do that training for you guys. Okay, what I want you to understand: projection is perception too. Projection what people perceive is what you project. If you project, you could be a kitty cat, but if you project your line, you're going to be a lion. And people's reality of you is what you decide, That's the reality of you. I love this concept. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this. I'm going to go past kind of fast a couple of areas just because we have this in the last webinar that we recorded, but I want to remind you again, repetition is the mother of learning and the father of skills. Remember that, okay? So professional sort, amateurs convinced. What we're doing is sorting. We're looking for the aces. Understand it's sometimes about timing in people's lives. You know, I spoken to a friend of mine I showed a business to. I remember he told me no. A year later, I showed it to him again. He got in. The following 12 months after that, he made a 6-figure income, and we made a lot of money together. And so it's all about timing in people's lives. It's okay. Put them on your list. Don't burn bridges. Put people on your list and keep people on your list. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. It's all about timing again. Some people will, some won't, some wait, some will. The process. I just go next. If you give me a negative attitude, someone gives me negative attitude, I do a couple of reframing. I try to reframe their situation for them, and maybe they have a negative stigma or thought about this industry. I try to help them reframe. But if after some effort it's not working out, I'm like, next. I just go to the next person. That's why I have 100 people list. The more you say, the more people will judge. The less you say, the less people will judge. Remember that right there. You want to be a 30-second commercial and let the information and presentation be the full information, be the movie. Okay, let's go into this real quick. Step number 1, you want to pique interest. Pique people's interest. Piquing people's interest is not presenting, it's not vomiting over people information. I've done that before, where I call my friend or I tell people, hey, what is this about? I said, man, it's $700 to get in. You're gonna be able to buy this. You get 100 people, then you make a people list. It's like you go crazy. So you don't want to do that. You just want to pique people's interest. Let me give you a couple of strategies on how to do that. First of all, let's talk about strategies for social media. Here's what you don't want to do on social media. Okay, don't post a company name, product name, or team. Why is that? Because people Google it. If they Google it, they don't need you to get the information, right? So don't post a company name, product name on social media. Don't mass tag to sell. It kills visibility. So when you do a mass tag on your Facebook page or this opportunity, when you do a mass tag, what happens is that the algorithm of Facebook sees it as spamming, and it throws your visibility for your post way down. It kills your visibility. So you don't want to mass tag. Don't post anything negative, political, in social media. Try to stay away from politics as much as possible. I mean, if you have a strong belief, I mean, I'm not one to tell you shut your beliefs down when it's something you feel strong about. There is a time and place for you to stand up for your beliefs, and I believe that so you got to be, but have good judgment in that. How about that? Have good judgment. I won't tell you what to do and what not to do in there. Don't cold message people to sell them. If people don't converse with you, it will kill your algorithm for your visibility as well. Meaning, when you send a message on Facebook to someone, and let's say you send 100 messages or 50 messages, and people in 50 messages don't respond, again, Facebook thinks, the algorithm says, okay, this guy's spamming. So it kills your visibility in all in your posts. It kills the visibility in everything that you're working on. So this is how the algorithm of Facebook works. Just want to give you some tips on Facebook algorithms and the algorithm of Instagram as well. Okay, building on social media is about building trust. You want to build trust with people. You're not building a company, you're building trust with people. The foundation of all your business is on trust. How much do people trust you? Trust you and I. You have to touch the heart before you ask for a hand. John Maxwell, classic quote that every single one of us should be following. You got to touch the heart. Remember, make a good deposit in people's lives. I already said this. Okay, let's keep moving forward. Okay, here's a strategy that I'm doing. You to pique interest. On the Facebook group that I have, all these pictures that I have, you can share this in your story. Look at this. All it's saying is piquing interest. That's all it is. People can see virtual reality, but that's all they know. Welcome to the new reality of home-based learning. This is a child here Do people have their kids at home right now, homeschool? You best believe it. This post right here has brought me a lot of interest in people messaging me, say, hey, what is this? I'm interested. What is it? And you see, all I say is May 20. Discover your future. DM for details. I'm not gonna go to the details. I want a private message. Here's another one. Welcome to the new reality of home-based businesses. Now I'm talking about home-based business and having that picture behind. May 2020, discover your future, register, DM for details. So all I'm doing is, this is a commercial, and the movie is gonna be speaking to me, going a 3-way call, full presentation, and then after that, what I do, I send an 11-minute video that talks about Mark Zuckerberg, virtual reality, and the GPS 3-minute explanation by Mr. Danny Bay. That video is combined all together. But this is a great way to pique curiosity for you to use on your Facebook. These templates right here are inside the Facebook group that we created. And if you're not part of the Facebook group, no worries, you can get added and let the person that invited you to this webinar add you to the Facebook group, and we'll help you. All right, let me give you a couple of scripts that you can use for yourself. And here's something that I've been using that has been working. Okay, let's say I'm building here, and let's say build up a conversation by asking how they are doing during these times, right? So hey Steve, hey Charles, hey Chuck, how are you? Remember, people don't care how much you care. Hey Chuck, how you doing during these times? And Chuck and I started having a conversation. Then I asked, hey, are you currently working on any side projects? What do they say? Well, wait for the response. If they say, yes, I am, you can say something, hey, that's smart. I'm currently working on this technology virtual reality project. Let me ask you, are you in a position in life to analyze a side project? Never had someone tell me, no, I don't want to analyze a side project. Or if they say they're not working on any side project, say, wonderful. I'm working on a tech virtual reality project. Are you currently in a position to analyze the side project? That's very, very simple. Okay, this is a great, easy script. You see how I didn't go, they say yes. Okay, now I'm gonna send that 11-minute video that explains. Okay, you wanna let the commercial do the commercial, and then the movie will be the tool. Tools are the movie. Webinars is the movie. Anything outside of me that I don't have to explain this personally is the way to go. I'm a fanatic about tools. I'm a fanatic about videos and webinars. I love it. Anything that I have to do that someone else can copy, paste, and build, that's even better, okay? This is a great script that has been working for me. Okay, let's talk about a couple of more approaches. A direct approach here for more marketing. Hey, John, are you doing anything tomorrow at 7 o'clock, tonight at 7 o'clock? No, I'm not. I'm working on a huge business project in a technology and virtual reality space that will be launching in May with some very influential people. But before it launches, you have to see this. And then say, great, send me the information, and you can send the information. This is a very direct approach, people that you have influence over and people you have a relationship with. Indirect approach. Let's say people you look up to. You can say something like this, say, hey, John, I'm looking to launch a business with some very influential people, and I've always respected your business mindset. You've been a mentor of mine from afar for a long time now. Could you do me a favor and give me your opinion on this project? Because if you give me a green light, I'm going to go all in on this, but I need your stamp of approval. Very, very simple as well. Great way to, and this is for people that you look up to, people that are more successful than you. This is a great approach, the opinion approach, and you give them the value, you recognize, you give them recognition. Great way for them to look at the information. Let's keep going. Here's the text that I did. And I showed this in my last webinar, but I want to show it to you again because I want you to know that I practice what I preach, okay? So I already asked him, hey, how you doing? How's everything going? And then he told me, I asked him, hey, are you working on any side projects or just real estate? Because I knew at one point he was working real estate. So there's my question. Are you working on any side projects? He goes, I'm just working on family auto. So he's selling cars. I said, oh, cool. I just sold my 2016 Audi RS. I'm working on a side project in virtual reality. Have you ever experienced VR? And that's I'm having more of a conversation. And he says, I have one of those VR things, the phone my brother got me. Can't remember the name of it, but like in binoculars, you put your phone in and in. And I said, well, yeah, those were the first versions like the brick cell phones from Saved by the Bell, LOL. I don't know if you remember that show. So again, I'm just creating conversation. He said, ha ha ha, of course. I said, he go, I'll send you, he said, he told me, I'll send you a pic and whatever, I'll send you a pic of what I have later when I get home. And I say, hey, Brian, you're a good guy. I'm working on a virtual reality business platform. A company from Japan and Korea is launching here in May. They blew up in Korea and Japan. Now it's coming to the USA, and it will blow up here too. Are you in a position in life to analyze a business? Very simple. He said, I'm open to taking a look, and thank you. That's an exposure. All I'm trying to do is an exposure. That's it. Everything else, I don't take it personal. If he cannot do it, no worries. I'm just trying to create more exposures. Here's a 30-second elevator pitch. I own a business in a technology and VR space that focus on teaching people how to create multiple streams of income. Just somebody asked me what I do. Say, hey, David, what do you do? Oh, I own a business in the technology and virtual reality space that focuses on teaching people how to create multiple streams of income. What do you do? And all of a sudden they're like, oh, really? How do you do that? And I said, I'll send you the information. Very, very simple. Okay, once you do that, I want to use the marketing tools. Marketing tools like this video, 11-minute video, great video for everybody to have. Great video. Here's the Pico G2. Let's go ahead and watch this video for those of you that haven't seen him. I know some of you haven't. So we'll go ahead and watch this. We're having some video problems. I think it's the conversion that went to my PowerPoint. So we'll keep moving forward. Okay, so here's the community Facebook group, GPS North American launch. Get yourself in there. If you're not in there, make sure you're in there. We're gonna keep posting a lot of good stuff. And I want to tell you that I just got out of a meeting with some top leaders. They're about to rock this out with us, and the system that starts next week. We're gonna have a full-blown system with top leaders. And I'm excited. I'm so excited. What you're about this is gonna go out of control. Out of control. What's gonna happen now with all the leaders that are coming together? Okay. Here's another script, but I'm not gonna go over too much into this because I went over in the last webinar. Screenshot this, and you can go over in the last webinar. I have it posted in the Facebook group. Go ahead and share this and see how I did this. Let's talk about edification. Edification is something so key for every single one of us to understand. Mr. Danny Bay, very easy person to edify. Here's a way to talk about him. 20 years experience in the development of direct sales and global expansion. Has acquired customers, over $1 billion in sales in over multiple countries. Has trained and spoken in 16 countries with combined audience of 300,000 people. This gentleman is amazing. Why do we edify? We edify because we're trying to raise the influence level on the person that especially if we're going a three-way call, when you're introducing someone, your mentor, your business partner, to your prospect candidate, when you introduce them to them, you want to create some type of edification, either before or during. I usually like for before. I like that because it's kind of awkward sometimes when it can be kind of awkward sometimes if that person is, if someone's saying all these things in front of you, right? So it's good. Sometimes it's good just to do it before as well. I like that as well. But this edification is key to getting people to create that influence for people to listen. Very, very important. Here's another one. Here's my business partner, Reggie Franklin. Say, if I was introduced If I wanted to introduce Reggie to you or to someone or a webinar, say, hey, I want to introduce you to my business partner, Reggie Franklin, who has built successfully in multiple businesses, in multiple industries. Now is leading the expansion of this project. He is passionate about helping others and has been a mentor for thousands of people for the last 20 years. Incredible individual, a family man, just someone that I look up to, that we have the utmost respect and has a passion for helping other people. So you can just say, raise the influence that way, and vice versa, right? We throw the influence back to you, and we go back and forth. So three-way calling, pass to the EDIFY experts, that's what it is. You and your prospect have the trust. You and your expert have the edification. And you are the trust bridge between your prospect and the expert. That's the psychology behind it. Okay, tonight we're having another Zoom. Use the strategies that I share with you to invite to the Zoom. Here's the webinar right here. This is happening tonight, and you can invite whoever you want and get people on this presentation where myself, Mr. Reggie Franklin, and other leaders will be on speaking about the opportunity. So make sure you get yourself right here. Here's the Zoom link, and you can share it with everybody. It says 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, whenever I'm closing an event or I'm closing a presentation and I'm talking to my candidate, I just ask them, hey, what did you like best about what you just saw? What did you like best? And say, oh, I like the fact that we are capitalizing technology of the future. Oh, great. Do you see an opportunity for yourself to make money from the technology of the future? They say, yes, absolutely. I say, great. Here, let me add you to this Facebook group. And as soon as we launch, get ready, because we're going to go ahead and be able to put you in a position for you to get started right away before thousands of people get started. Okay, let's talk about a little bit about numbers. Numbers is good. How many, recruit 30 people in 30 days. Question, how many people do I have to share the business with in order to recruit 30 people in 30 days? Well, let's talk about, if we use a 30% closing ratio, that means that we have to talk to 100 people and 30 will join the business. Very, very simple. 30 people that I can share the webinar to, 30 people that saw the presentation, and the 100 people that saw everything. When they saw everything, 30 will join. Very, very simple way to look at this. Here's some of the statistics that are going to come. When you recruit 30 individuals, 5 to 10 will quit. That's just the way. 5 to 10 will do nothing. 5 to 7 will be customers, and about 10 will be your builders. And then you have about 1 or 2 that will be your superstars. Good numbers to realize. Again, just setting expectations for you guys. Share your business with 100 people in 10 days. That really builds massive momentum, by the way, if you do that. How many people per day do I have to share the business with? Let's talk about this. My goal is to share the business with 4 to 10 people a day of webinars that I'm sharing this to. I'm making some calls. I'm using those scripts. I'm sending it to people, 4 to 10 people a day. It's really my goal. I shoot for at least 5 new people a day, 5 new people a day in between all my days, all my calls I'm doing for other people. I want 5 new people a day personally that I reached out to be able to go out there and share the business personally for myself. Okay, why do I do this? Because I want to push the pendulum to the left side of the failure, rejection, pain, and sadness. I've learned this, that whenever you do this, you push your pendulum towards the left because of consistent, skillful action. When you put it to the left, it equally swings right to the right to success. To the degree that you swing to the failure is a degree that it goes to the right. Thomas J. Watson, which is one of the founders of IBM, he said, this success is simple. It's simple to have success. Double your rate of failure. Very, very simple. Double your rate of failure. And when you do that, you will find yourself with success. Your recovery time. Master your recovery time. Master the time that whenever someone tells you no or tells you something that you don't want to hear, let that motivate you. You got to learn. You know how you master recovery time from the point of disappointment? You got to learn how to reframe. You reframe things. The reason that you're sad about somebody telling you no is because you have not learned how to reframe. You have to learn how to reframe things. What is reframing? Changing the meaning of that experience. The meaning, remember, thoughts, emotion. Thoughts, and between thoughts and emotions are the meaning. A thought comes in, you give it a meaning. Do you know that me and you can have the same thought, give two different types of meanings, right? And those two different types of meanings create two different types of emotions, two different types of actions, two different types of habits, two different types of results for our lives. But it's in between the thoughts and emotion that the meaning falls into, and that's where your recovery time, mastering that is mastering your recovery time. Okay, let me go ahead and finish here and close to you guys. And thank you for hopping on here. I will finish up with this, is that everything people do, they do it for their own reasons, never for yours. Everything people do. So don't get caught up on bad experiences. What I mean by this is that imagine you wake up in the morning, or imagine this man wakes up in the morning. And when that man wakes up in the morning, he looks at his wife, and his wife says, honey, we're pregnant. We've been trying for 5 years. And he's like, oh my God, it's amazing. And when that happens, he goes to his phone, he looks at his phone. When he looks at his phone, he sees he just won the sweepstakes. He just won $1 million. Oh wow, what a day. He goes to the kitchen, and he has his kitchen full of food and just a beautiful breakfast. He goes to work. On the way to work, he hits all green lights. He gets to work. When he gets to work, his boss says, come into my office. And the boss says, you know what, I've been looking at you, and you are an incredible employee. In fact, today's your promotion day. You have a promotion. And he said, in fact, you're so good. Why don't you take the day off for today? Now that man goes for a walk, and he goes to the park, and he bumps into you, and you have a cup of coffee, and you spill your coffee on him. How is that man going to respond? We can all agree that he'll be like, no worries, I'm good. I'm sorry that I bumped into you, my fault, right? But let's say the same man wakes up in the morning, and when he wakes up, he leans over to the right to see his wife, and he finds a letter, an envelope. He opens the envelope, and it's a letter from his wife that says, I left you for the lawyer. He then goes into the kitchen, there's no food. He goes to work, hits all red lights, it's raining, he gets a flat tire. He gets to work late, and his boss says, you're fired. Now he goes for a walk, and he bumps into you again, and you spill your coffee. How is that man going to respond? He's probably going to tear your head off. He's probably going to tell you some mean things. He's going to go off on you. Here's the observation here. You were exactly the same person. 100% of his response has everything to do with him and nothing to do with you. This is an amazing observation for you to have, and for all of us to have. Very important for every single one of us to have this observation. I'll close up with this. There's a story that I love. There's a story about the Greek gods, where the gods Zeus and the gods were arguing among each other because the greatness of man became too powerful. And so Zeus put the entire earth to sleep, and he stole the greatness of man. And now they were saying, where do we hide the greatness of man? And one of the gods said, well, let's hide it in the deepest ocean. And Ares, who is the god of war, said, no, if you hide it in the deepest oceans, man is curious. They will go down there and they will find their greatness. Another god said, let's hide it in the tallest mountain. And Ares, the god of war, said, no, if you hide it up there, man is persistent. They will overcome that mountain and find their greatness. Another one said, well, I get it. We'll hide it deep in earth. No, Ares said, man is innovative. If you hide it down there, they will invent machines, they will innovate, and they will dig down and find their greatness. Finally, in frustration, they asked Ares, okay, where do we hide it? Ares said, we can hide it in the one place they will never think on looking, inside their hearts. And that's where it remains. I've learned in my life, ladies and gentlemen, is that my greatness is in that place where it's just within you already. It's within you and me. It's within every single one of us. So you don't have to go in that and try to find yourself and try to say, I'm not complete. You're already complete. You're already complete. You have everything that it takes for you to capitalize on this opportunity is already within you. It's already within me. Now is the time. You and I have an opportunity it's amazing, this opportunity that we have in place. We have an opportunity that very few people get. A company's not here yet. It's about to launch. And we know what happened in Korea. 20,000 people joined the business. What do you think will happen here? And you and I are among the first 100 people that are looking at this business. Man, what a privilege that is. And what an amazing opportunity. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and I want to let my business partner, Mr. Reggie Franklin, say a few words. And if Ms. Christina wants to say a few words, I'll open up the mic for you too as well. I see you here. And we'll go ahead and get you started, get you saying a few words. I would love to hear from you, ma'am. So Mr. Reggie Franklin, let me go ahead and unlock the participants. I know I kind of locked it. Give me just a minute. Okay, sir, you're unmuted.
All right, can you see me and hear me?
Yes, sir.
You see, I'm at my office. I got to practice the same tender. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, incredible job. Hey, somebody just posted, hey, Dave, I can listen to you all day. You know, with as much experience as I had today, I felt like a new student, and I'm glad, man, because all the stuff you're going over, I wrote so many notes. It takes me back to back to the original efforts that I used to do. So what I want to tell everybody, man, is get everybody you can on the call tonight. And Dave, so I had probably 4 more calls to make. You know what I was going to do, man? Because everything you was teaching, I was going to do a possible live call real quick to see if I can get to show people personally, like we're not just talking about it, we're actually doing it. And these are people I haven't spoken to, haven't talked to about any opportunity. I'm just going to give it a try real quick. This guy's name is Mr. Bennett, and he's just a real sharp individual, and he was one of the guys on my list. So I'm going to call him real quick so we can see.
Yeah, call him right now. I want to.
Yeah. I'm going to do this live, man.
Awesome.
And you know what? I'm kind of hoping he gives me some hard stuff so people can say, so you can see, hey, you don't say anything, you can't say anything wrong to the right person. I got 4 people to call to get on this call tonight. So let me see if I can do this. See if he answers. Can you hear the ringing?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mr. Bennett, how you doing, man?
What's going on, bro?
Hey, this is Reggie. Everything good?
Huh?
Is everything good?
Yeah, I don't think I just ain't had time to go over there and let him do
The inspection?
Covers up now. He now did the inspection.
Okay. Well, hey, let me get to why I'm calling you real quick, because I got about 20 more people to call, man, and you made an impression on me, man. I figured you as a sharp person. My question to you is, what are you doing tonight at 7 p.m.?
I don't know. What you got going?
Look here, man. I'm going to make this short and sweet for you because, like I said, I got some other people to call. I got my hands on something pretty big, man, and I'm looking for 20 to 30 top people that I can help make enough money to pay their monthly bills every month. Are you one of them?
What did you say? Repeat that now?
I'm looking for about 20 to 30 people that I can help make enough money to pay their monthly bills, for when something like this pandemic or something like this happen. So I'm looking for somebody I can help make some money. Are you one of them?
Yeah.
Okay, well, look, this is what I'm going to do, man. I'm not going to promise you, but I'm going to tell you this. I'm giving you a seat at the table. So I'm going to send you some information. I need you and your wife on this Zoom call tonight at 7. Can I count on it?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to send the information. I'll call you right back. Bye. Bam! So here's my point. I can do this. This is first grade, second day, man. I don't have to talk about the business, especially if you're not an expert on it, because you mentioned earlier, if you say, hey, man, it's $100, it's $600, you got to do this, got to do that. If you give people a reason to say N-O before they K-N-O-W, they will. So I'm going to do one more or maybe 2 more. Let's see. This guy, David, used to play for the Cowboys. He was a linebacker. His name is John Tulele. And to be quite honest, as much experience as I got, I was kind of nervous on calling this guy. But guess what? I'm about to do it anyway. So ladies and gentlemen, this is just me making calls. I want people on the call tonight because one person will lead to thousands. Okay, so, all right, so it went to voicemail. This other guy, real quick, he's a real estate tycoon. His name is Perkins, and real good friend. I know he makes a lot of money already. So, but I know he's the type that keeps his options open, you know? So let me do this real quick.
Yes, sir.
And I'm kind of hey, Dave, I'm kind of hoping somebody tells me no, so I can show people how to handle the objections, but I just don't get too many no's, bro. And this is all I'm doing. And I'm making these calls because I want a successful business. And I'm looking for people I can help. Let's see. And that guy, Mr. Bennett, that's going to be on the call, he knows everybody. Okay? And if they don't answer questions, you know, they get the voicemail, you can leave them a message or call them back. But that list you showed, okay? I'm going to try one more, Dave, and that's it. But that list you showed, man, that's a huge list. And like you said, people don't discriminate, just call them.
Yep.
You don't know what they're going through. But I'm going to be real excited on this call. Let's see. Because this guy is a pure D entrepreneur. All right, here we go. If this guy's answer, hey, if I can pique this guy's interest and get him on a call, he's going to be incredibly well. Hey, buddy, this is Reggie. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Rich?
Man, how's everything, man? Everything going good? The family good?
Oh, yeah, everybody's good. What about yourself?
Man, I'm incredible. Hey, so check this out, man. Let me get down to why I called you. Okay, you got a minute?
Yeah.
So you know, when I met you, you know, you kind of struck me as an entrepreneur, man. I know you like to make money, and I got the impression you know a lot of successful people. So check this out. I got my hands on something really, really big, man, and I'm looking for 20 to 30 top people that I can bless with the opportunity to have a successful business and make a lot of extra money. Would you be interested? Would you be one of them?
I know for a fact I'll be one of them.
Well, here's the deal. What are you doing today at 7 o'clock?
Well, I don't have any plans.
Well, that's what I wanted to hear. This is what I'm gonna do, man, and you need to really, really take me serious. I'm gonna send you some information on a Zoom call tonight to show you me and my business partner what we got our hands on. And trust me, I'm not only thinking about you, but I'm thinking about the people you know, along with your friends and family. So I need you on that call tonight. Can I count on you?
You count on me.
All right, I'll send you the information in about 20 minutes. Okay? I'll talk to you soon.
All
right. Bye. So, ladies and gentlemen, look. We not only walking the walk, we talking the talk. I can do this all day long. I promise you can't say anything wrong to the right person. And with the training that David has, and you know, there's no reason we can fail. Only thing I can tell you, as long as we keep the level of integrity and honesty and keep this a really good, fun business, we'll always have the success. So Dave, I wanted to do that. I got about 10 more calls to make. I'm going to get a lot of people on the call. Look, somebody said, you want to call my peeps? I sure do want to call your peeps. Here's my goal. I want to get 500 or more people on the presentation call before we launch. And we're about to launch next month. So if everybody can make the kind of calls that I did, you can get 5 to 10 people on the call. There you go, Dave. I just wanted to do that, man.
Reggie. My business partner, Reggie Franklin, guys. Great job. I love it. I want you guys to hear too from a great leader, entrepreneur, someone who had the utmost respect as well, working with us and has a big Korean team. So Miss Christina John, you're unmuted.
Yeah, hi, how you doing? I'm Christina Jung I'm living in Atlanta, Georgia. How you doing? First of all, you know, who speak English better than me? Just raise your hand. So it means, you know, in America, we just started. So I mean, we are the making history in the GPS. And then actually, everybody has opportunity right now. So Mr. Reggie And then you're very, the funny guy, and I respect everything. And then, we can do that like that. So we are a team. So, I mean, if I just do that myself, I cannot do anything. But the thing is, we make all the call with, the team calls. And then, the Mr. David, he's a great leader. And then, we introduce him, edify that. And then we can just, introduce our business. That's, the whole thing. So, but I just let you know, most of people, they thinking, we start first time, and then we around, the $700 pay for that, the starter package, right? But the thing is, people treat only, this business for the $700 like that, but not that. You need to treat $7 trillion you invest in this business. That's only our mindset, and then we can make more bigger, and then we do start, the leadership mindset, and then we can make all together. That I think, that's all we can, prepare for that.
Yeah, thank you, Christina. That's so true. Treat your business as not as a $700 business. Treat it as $1 trillion business, $1 billion business. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ms. Christina. We appreciate it.
Thank you. You have a nice day.
I know. I see here, Mr. John Kim. I don't know if he's available, sir. John, are you available? I'm gonna mute you to see if you're here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. There you are. Wonderful. First of all, let me give you a little introduction. Mr. John Kim is a great leader in the industry with many years of experience, as well as someone who just cares for people. And we're excited to be working all together. John, why don't you share a little bit about your excitement and maybe a little about your experience too, and what you see coming now with GPS coming to the United States?
Sure. Thank you, David. First of all, I think it's important to realize there are 4 things I look at before I get involved in the business. Number 1, I look at CEO. I check them out, and obviously he's a great guy. A company, if you look at Facebook Zuckerberg, this is the second company that he bought after Instagram, Oculus. There's a reason why he bought that company, and we have to understand why he bought it. We know that VR is going to be the next thing. So the company is set. The Danny Bear, in my opinion, is probably one of the top Korean American, top moneymaker in the worldwide. It comes with network business. So obviously he does have experience. So the third thing I look at is the compensation plan. I don't know if there's any company out there in the market that has a strong compensation plan as we do. If there's anybody who could prove that there is a compensation plan that's going to be able to compete, I'm willing to go ahead and do a 1-to-1 match with all the compensation plan. And I could easily bring leaders just looking at the compensation plan. Now, 4 things I look at because of my experience, past experiences, is the repurchasing rate. Now, if you have VR with the kids and you give them the VR, obviously they're never going to cancel. If you want to cancel this, subscription, I guarantee the parents will probably have to divorce their kids. So I know 4 things in the business, being in the business for a long term, and I have done business with many leaders. I know that 4 things come into play. I have no problem getting this thrive into next, future business. I think this is the business to get involved in now, not later.
That's great. I love it. Love it. Thank you very much, Mr. Kim. Appreciate you, and can't wait to launch this together and for us to be spending a lot of time working together. Thank you very much for your leadership.
Thank you, David.
I want to bring up one more person just to say hi. My good entrepreneur friend Chuck, and just to tell you a little bit about Chuck. Chuck is someone that I have the utmost respect for, because the gentleman he has first of all he has raised over $100 million, I believe he raised for his last project. So anybody that raises that much money, can we say he has a little influence when you raise that much money. So I want to just bring up and just say a few words. Hey, Chuck, can you hear us? We can't hear you. Try without the headphones. Maybe unplug them. All right. We're having a little technical issues. All right. Well, I don't know. We'll come back to you, Chuck, in just a moment. I know Mr. Dan Nobles, a gentleman who has experience in network marketing too, wanted to say a few words. I'm going to go ahead and open up for you guys. Mr. Dan also came from a different company, looking at this now, and was when he saw this, he was blown away as well by the virtual reality and the new wave of direct sales and network marketing that is coming on right now. So, Mr. Dan,